that you can call a dude to be in your video, not because he could make other people want to watch it because he's in it, but because, yo, we're brethren. Just like I'm shooting the video, I would say, yo, come in the video. Like, I'm shooting the video, come to the video shoot. You know? And there was this unity idea, you know, this unification amongst the elite. Like even like Rocket and these people are supposed to be the ones that are heading all these companies, all these record labels right now. People who are A&Rs and all that. Yes, let me say it. Right? All the A&Rs and stuff like that should be these people. It's not supposed to be some European dude that never heard hip-hop song ever, doesn't even know who Rock'n is, right? It has to be actually the people who are the foundation of this. What's up, bro? Right? King, once again, right?
King.
Something just for the side note. Back then when they were rocking the cameos, really the feds.
Right.
Rocking their hair.
Exactly. That was there, and everybody had a cameo back then.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And you're seeing cameos popping up today.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's a new style. And you ask any of these brothers, yo, you ever heard a King song? Or who's that? What do you mean who's that? You have his hairstyle on right now. What are you talking about? Who's that? Right? King had a song, Children Are the Future. Right? So we'll come back to that same thing. Educated through the music. Right? Take my hand, my child, and let me show you how. Because I'm here to help those who need knowledge of self. Young brothers and sisters, consider the cream that must rise to the top to fulfill the dream. Yeah, that's the lyrics right there. Young brothers and sisters, consider the cream that must rise to the top to fulfill the dream. That cream only rises to the top. Right? No, right? I guess I said that too. Back then they had this whole rating people's like lyrics, hip hop quotables or whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They'll you know, it got watered down later on. You know, but earlier when they first started putting that out, like there was lyrics that you might have missed in songs or whatever that they'll post, and then you're reading this thing, you're like, oh, that's what he actually said, and then you go look through the thing, you know what I mean, you find you playing it, like, yo, that's for real, you know what I mean, that's actually what he said, this man's a genius, you know, right, and there are desires that we want to achieve, but remember, respect is most greatest to achieve, and we don't have to gain it by being tough or selling our own kind of cooked white stuff. Tell me. You don't have to achieve greatness by being the guy on the block that sells the most drugs. This is like back then. Like telling you. And he has gold just like a drug dealer. And a nice car just like a drug dealer. Rings and all that just like a drug dealer. But he's telling you to, you know, be something with yourself. You know?
The next thing about that too with the whole drug dealer thing, or just a lot of things in natural, they sell you the dream, like, you know, you watch Scarface, he becomes the big kingpin, but if you notice, only one person becomes that. There are millions and millions of us doing it, because we all see that one, but there's not room for everybody. There's only room for that
everybody
one.
Can't be the kingpin. Yeah.
Exactly. So you got to check yourself when it comes to those types of things. Same with playing ball. They'll tell you that to make the NBA, NFL, you have a better chance of winning the lotto, because that's how much people is trying to do that.
Right.
So you have to keep things in perspective and always have different angles.
Right. Cool G Rap known for using complex, multi-syllabalistic rhymes since its debut. In a similar way to other Golden Age MCs such as Big Daddy Kane and Rakim, and this remains a hallmark of his style. Superhuman breath control. Right? Cool Mo D has a book, There's a God on the Mic, The True 50 Greatest MCs, and Coogee Rap's number 14. So this idea of the street rapper, street MC comes from Coogee Rap. So who like let's say Prodigy, or Mobb Deep, like Nas, anybody who's dealing with street MCing.
So well, Coogee Rap came out. This is like golden era hip hop, right?
Yeah, this is like golden era is like say
the early
80s,
mid 80s, right?
Mid 80s to mid 90s.
So you would say that never also have an influence on like the West Coast, because the West Coast was when hip hop made its way to the West Coast, like around like '92 when like the Chronic dropped.
Yeah.
That was like the birth of gangsta rap on the West Coast.
Well,
and then you see like the Dog Pound, Corrupt, all these different.
Well, as far as the West Coast,
yeah,
they have it's like you're gonna go to China, for example, and China's gonna tell you, well, I don't know what you're talking about Africa being the birthplace of civilization. Birthplace of civilization is in China, right? You know, so when you check that out, you're gonna find out that okay, well, there was, just like we're breaking down this whole idea of hip hop on the East Coast, the same thing happened on the West Coast. That there was you know, West Coast rap going before '92 up there. You know, a name that I forgot when we were talking about before was Schoolie D.
Schoolie D.
Ghetto Boys and then people Too Short. Right? Two Life Crew. Right?
Like Above the Law, Ice-T.
Above the Law, Ice-T, people there. You know, Ice-T was out in like the 80s.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You know? So it just depended on you know, not that it depended. Majority of the people to the north gravitated to the East Coast hip hop. Just because that's what's closest to us. You know what I mean? And majority of everybody else, they gravitated to the South stuff. You know what I mean? Or the West Coast hip hop. Right? But when you go back and listen to that stuff too. You know what I mean? Because like Ghetto Boys were heavy. They were heavy, conscious. They were talking about what was going on in their quote unquote hood or whatever, but they weren't talking about it to glorify it. They were talking about it so you know, so you don't go that route, right? Speaking about that, right? When you talk about this idea of a message in hip hop music, right? These are the two best examples of a unified message to change this idea that hip hop is segregated and, you know, these guys against those guys and whatever. So you have Self-Destruction, which was the East Coast, like, posse cut, and then you have All in the Same Gang, which was like the West Coast posse cut, which both of them are, when you go and you listen to those, right, you realize how much of an impact this music could have on a world scale with regards to changing how people consider hip hop music, right? To stop the violence, the self-destruction was from a stop the violence movement, like an actual movement of artists that came together and said, yo, there's violence going on, we have to do something about it because we're all big artists. And there was big artists on this, you know what I mean? This wasn't just like some guys from the block that decided to come together. Like there was big artists, 10-minute video type of song. You know what I mean? Right? Same thing with the same gang. You know, all these West Coast artists coming together to take a stand for gang violence that was skyrocketing during that time. Right?
And those tracks were big too.
Those tracks were big.
Like,
Those were just some
that
songs
coming together just for this thing, and it was gonna be like not like what the rest of hip hop was, but it was still there.
Right.
Yeah, same gang was fun.
Yeah, same gang was big. You know what I mean? So go back and revisit these. You know what I mean? Just so you can get that perspective. You know what I mean? Of this unified principle. This idea that, you know what, we can all come together. It's no different than, you know, like all the rappers in Toronto coming together to fight, you know, the whole priority neighborhood labeling. And everybody from every priority neighborhood sends out their best MC to go get on this track that's produced by, you know, every producer from every one of these blocks. All of them come together. Okay, one man's gonna make the drum pattern, next man's gonna find the melody for it, and next producer's gonna whatever, and then everybody puts their name on it, but as a unit. They're not putting their name on it to get some individual acclaim because, yeah, well, we're on this song. So, you know, because there were people who should have been on it that were not.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not like this was the best MCs or whatever. You know, these were the ones that just came together to do it, but this could have been like a 20-minute song. And it would have still had the same impact with who was on it right now. Right? But this was just to show like the whole posse cut idea. That this is not, it's not anything new to come together and do posse songs. Right?
And the next tough one too is Heal. Heal,
Right,
Heal Yourself, right? Heal.
Right.
A little Cool J out there, Freddie Fox,
Right.
Big Daddy Kane, Run DMC, you know, Karis One's on there, Queen
There was a few.
That one was
Yeah.
cool too.
There wasn't, and again, it was something that it was something that was fun. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? It wasn't like, yo, we gotta do this song to stop the violence movement, because like you tell some rappers today, yo, do a song to stop the violence, you know, oh, there's no money in that, you can't do a song like that, you know, what we gonna do for the video, we can't put the girls in it, like, they'll do anything to not do it, right? When it's something that should be done, that needs to be done, right? So Erase Racism was another song. Coogee Rap, Big Daddy Kane, and Biz Markie, right? And the whole song was about erasing racism. You know, that we're all united. There's no need for us to have this bickering amongst ourselves as racism. Right? Coogee Rap. Some people did gangster rap, but some people did more like what I refer to as reality rap. Ice Cube and them did gangster, said gangster in some of their rhymes. But if you look at them as a total, as an artist, Ice Cube was real positive in what he was saying. He was like an activist. If you listen to America's Most Wanted, go get that. Go look up America's Most Wanted, Ice Cube on YouTube, and listen to all them songs. Right? He's like a pro-black activist. Scarface did a lot of street, but when he was with Ghetto Boys, they would also do like Under Siege, talking about how Reagan was in cahoots with Noriega. Right? So these dudes were dropping science. It wasn't just suck me off and I'll blow your head off. They had that element because that was the environment they came from, but at the same time, the dudes was kicking real shit too. So mental awareness. You gotta look at the artist as a whole. And this from Coogee Rap. I mean, like hardcore extraordinaire is saying, don't just look at don't just go with what you hear. You know what I mean? Make sure that you actually digest what a lot of these artists are saying. You know what I mean? Don't just look at it, oh, well, those guys say that they're gangsters, so, you know, we're not going to consider it.